Hey everyone, and welcome to the Defining Your Life podcast, where we focus on living in our purpose, practicing presence, and activating our power in each moment. I'm Marsha Rell, your resident pep talk provider, and I invite you to join me as we continue to learn, lift each other up, and strive to level up together. Because we are never finished defining our lives, and it takes a village, so let's build one. Stay tuned for the episode. Hey everyone, I hope that you are all well. I hope that you're feeling good in the midst of the holiday season. And as we wind down this year, I can't believe that there are only 2 weeks left in the year. And on top of that, the next 2 Wednesdays are a holiday. So this will be the last episode of 2024. But no worries, I will be back with new episodes in January. And hopefully this episode will resonate with you and offer something positive to your life and your plans as we prepare to usher in 2025. Time is fleeting, y'all. And why is it that there is always this race to the end of the year, right? My colleague and I were just talking about this. It's really that hurry up and wait game. We got to get all these deals over the finish line before the year ends. But once that's done and it's time for action and for the real work to begin, you can certainly expect for it to take a while. Go figure with that one. But now, while I am talking about customers and onboarding here in my professional life, you may be able to see some of this in your personal life as well. I know that I can for sure, but I just was thinking, what if it didn't have to be this way? What if it didn't have to take a while? What if we've just been out here stalling the process because we have been getting in our own way? Does getting in your own way sound familiar? Goodness gracious, it's definitely familiar for me, because when we set goals for ourselves, it's easy to keep our eye focused on achieving the goal because that's the prize. But the truth is that we are probably focusing too much energy on the achievement of the goal, getting our prize, and not enough time on our implementation plan, which is made up of the actions that it will take for us to be able to claim our prize. Now, you know that I am not a person for resolutions. I say this all the time. However, I do believe in deciding to commit. And this is one thing that I am personally deciding to commit to. I am making a commitment to move my primary focus from the goal to the action. Because I've always appreciated the journey, right? It's all about the journey and not the goal. That's sort of a thing. But the goal is still nice to achieve. However, in order to keep moving on the journey and to achieve the goal, we have to be taking action regularly. And the reason is simple, right? We all have goals on some level. And sometimes the goals haven't made that transition yet from a dream to a goal. But either way, it's something that you desire and would like to achieve. Oftentimes, goals and dreams can be lumped all together because the thing is this, right? The difference between a dream and a goal is that a goal is a specific target that you can achieve with actionable steps. But with no actionable steps, the goals, even as you may have mapped them out on paper or in a digital tablet or on a voice note, are nothing more than dreams. With no actionable items attached to them, the goals will seem unachievable and out of reach, and therefore very much like a dream. But today, my friends, is the day that we stop dreaming, right? We have to stop dreaming and get working. We already know what we want. We've thought about it a million times over, but it's time to go and get it. And the only way to get it is, that's right, say it with me, through action. That's it. Yes. Now, you may not know where to start, what steps to take to get the ball rolling or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So let's talk about some actions that we can take to get the ball rolling. And as I go through this little list here, you'll notice that, the same action applies in lots of the areas that we talk about here on the pod. But think about it as reinforcement training. We have to drill it into ourselves until we get it and keep drilling it in so we don't start slipping. And it will impact all areas of our lives in a positive way. So your first action is to pray. Prayer should be the first step we take before we are doing anything. And if you find you don't know where to start to get yourself on track with something, it is the first step that will bring you clarity on what you need to action on. If you're journaling, if you are reciting affirmations, if you are meditating, these should all be complements to your prayer life, not a substitute, right? You're meditating on your prayer, you're journaling your prayers, and you're affirming your prayers. Prayer is extremely powerful. It's an underutilized tool that we've been gifted with, right? So pray, pray, and pray some more. And once you have that clarity through prayer, it's time to do what I think is one of the hardest things to do, and that's to actually be obedient, right? No good can come of knowing what to do and choosing not to do it anyway. Can you think of a time when that has worked out well? If you can, I would love to hear about it, but I don't actually have any examples to share of where that has worked well in my life. Now, when it's made plain to us what we should be doing and we decide to take another path, all we're doing is making things harder on ourselves, not going with the current, right? Creating more resistance, not setting ourselves up for success. And listen, your goals or whatever you are pursuing may very well be in alignment with what God has for you. The prize that we're trying to obtain may actually be something that was reserved for us. But what about the method that we're using to get there? Are we going about it the right way and during the right time? These things matter, right? So when you have that clarity, take the action of being obedient. And then next, do some research, right? Y'all, we have to do the research. There is no reason to be fully going into anything blindly or allowing ourselves to be misinformed because we didn't do our own due diligence in this age of information, right? Being too lazy to take a closer look ourselves and trusting others to guide us without vetting the information is actually how we end up wasting our efforts. And that can be very discouraging if you finally found yourself getting into motion and into a rhythm. You would have done all of that for what? Because you didn't take the time to do your research and learn what you needed to learn about what you're getting into. And it doesn't take much to get a baseline of information. No one's saying you have to be an expert, right? If you want to, go into starting a home healthcare business or something like that, no one's saying you need to be an expert in all areas, but you need to have a baseline so that you know what you're getting into. And from there, you can start to find other trusted advisors and things like that. But at a minimum, you got to vet the people, right? So research. Head over to the internet, start researching how-tos on your topic from trusted resources. And if you're still feeling overwhelmed or not quite sure where to start your search, just start with ChatGPT, but use the resources that are available to you, right? Researching really costs nothing these days but our time. And if you aren't willing to give up your time for your dream, you really don't deserve it at all. I hate to break it to you like that, but it is what it is. No one can craft the life that you desire for you. So once you've done your research, you know what to do next. Plot it out. However you like to plot things out. Make a task list or a timeline or a Trello board. Whatever it is, plot it out because it won't plan itself out, right? And then commit to carrying out the tasks that you have plotted. Listen, I know how it feels to write down all the to-dos that need to get done for something new and then never ever complete those tasks. Months later, you find yourself staring at the same list, or maybe you wrote the same list over again, so you felt like you had a new list, but all the tasks are the same, right? Now is the time to stop that madness. Do you want to go into the new year having the same conversations with yourself that you had 6 months ago or a year ago or 5 years ago? No. So we are doing something different. And let me say that I'm not only talking about lofty goals here, but even those subtle changes in behavior you've been saying you want to make, but you keep finding yourself back at square one. You have to commit to carrying out the tasks and the actions and making the change, right? So I'm going to share a quote from Rita Bailey today. She says, start wherever you are and start small. You can start small, y'all. Take action on whatever feels achievable. And those little actions will add up to be a big deal. And before you know it, you'll be at the big prize of achieving your goal. but it all starts with focusing on the actions. You may not have thought of these things that we talked about today as actions needed to achieve your goal, but they certainly are, right? They are necessary and they are the foundation of getting you to the prize. So just keep actioning. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. And if what you have been hearing has been beneficial, please do not forget to leave a 5-star review of the pod wherever you're listening. And most importantly, share. That's how we grow. And keep in touch and share your thoughts with me. You can send a text to the pod by accessing the link in the show notes. You can DM me on IG and TikTok. I certainly will respond there. And you can also email me. And if you have thoughts on topics that you'd like to hear in the new year, let me know that as well. And with that, I can't wait to chat with you all again in 2025. Take care until then.